Hey everyone, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm Jodie Harrison and I'm here with my lash wife, Alicia.
How to make your lash wife on YouTube.
Okay, take two.
She doesn't even know my name.
Take two. Actually, you won't take two. We're just going to run with it. Let's just run with it. It looks more natural. Alicia Phoenix, my lash wife. Welcome to you today.
Thank you. Thanks. Welcome to the YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about a really commonly asked question, which is how often should I take a break from lash extensions?
Asked all the time. When we handle the info inquiries in our customer service, it's one thing that people ask all the time. So I'm actually really interested to hear about this. I know personally what works for me because you always tell me I'm a picker and I shed my lashes fairly quickly. So I've got advice on that, but some people can keep them for a lot longer. Some people don't shed. Some people have a different cycle. So
I want to know these people that don't shed.
I know. There's
miracle people.
Well, this time around, you did mine 3 weeks ago, and I haven't shed much this time. Like, have a really good look.
Well, this time we used UV glue, so a little bit different. I haven't used UV glue on you before. That was
There you go.
so
But you can't see how. Do it closer.
lasted.
Hang on, I'll come over and you can have a look.
Here she comes. Watch out, she's coming in.
Sorry about that. Just to show you that, you know, they have lasted. I think it's really clever.
All right.
Lucky you didn't see my shorts and thongs.
Let's talk about natural lashes to start with and how natural lashes work. It's a bit boring, so let's not go too deep into it. There's all the different phases. There's the anagen, catagen, telogen phases, which is different growth phases. But a natural eyelash lasts around 6 to 8 weeks, so it's going to grow out of the hair follicle, little slow baby hair, and then have an active growth phase where it gets quite long, and then that telogen phase at the end where it's at its most length that it's going to get to, and the hair follicle starts shrinking and pushing the hair out of the hair follicle, and that's the lash shedding, and then a new one's there to grow underneath it. So just so you have an understanding. Well, that's like actually what every hair does.
It sounds like a sci-fi picture.
It's not
or something.
just like your lashes.
Something growing inside.
All of your hairs do that. So they're all doing this cycle of that shedding of the old hair and the new hair coming through. So it's not too scary, even though it's got all those fancy words. And every hair in your body is doing the same thing at different rates to your lashes. But it's important to just understand that your natural lashes do shed, because often people don't even know that.
Yes, well, I didn't know that until I started working at Prolong Lash. So
why would you?
yeah, exactly.
Except for didn't you never make a wish on a lash as a kid? You know,
yeah.
one falls on your cheek and you got to make a wish. And
Yeah, I have actually. Yeah, I have. I do remember that. My nan used to say that to me, so I just used to. Yeah, I didn't even think.
Well, why would you?
Because I
Why
thought
would
it
you
was a
need
magic
to?
lash.
You wouldn't need to.
I thought
You
it was a
wouldn't need to
magic
think
lash.
about it. So yeah, that's the main thing, to know that it is actually normal. It's normal for your lashes to shed and for a new one to grow out of the hair follicle, and so therefore you do need refills. Because they're falling out doesn't mean that there's damage. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong. Sometimes having an extension on a natural lash just makes it a lot more visible. So when there's a couple of lashes in the sink and people go, oh, I've lost 4 lashes and I can see them. Like, you might have lost those lashes anyway, but if it was a natural lash, you probably wouldn't have noticed it because it's such a fine little hair.
But because you've got the extension on it.
And that's the time that you brushed through them, gotten rid of any of the loose ones. Some of them might have shed earlier and is just sort of resting in the lash line or hasn't completely come out of the hair follicle, and just giving them the brush or the wash has just sort of finished off the job for it. So it's not like washing them or brushing them has caused it to fall out necessarily. It was probably about to fall out anyway and it was ready, and you've just given it that final
So
wash.
it's not your fault. Don't get upset.
No.
I used to get upset when I first got my lashes done, and I would see them falling out saying, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
I'm following everything.
No, you're meant to lose like 2 to 4 a day. So very normal.
And it's more obvious, of course, when you lose 2 to 4 with an extension on them.
Yeah,
because you see them
especially
coming
if it's a Russian volume, because that's a fan with like 6 or 8 or 10 lashes on there, and all of a sudden there's this big fan.
And you have the gap.
Yeah.
And that's the temptation to put the mascara in the middle.
Yeah.
Or go back and see your lash artist too early. Yeah.
No, I don't think you'd see your lash artist too early. They love to see you.
Of course
if you
they do.
need to go for a refill, you need to go for a refill. But yeah, the main thing is that's not something to worry about. And do you need to take a break from lashes because they're shedding? No, you don't. That's normal. Your lashes shed. You do not need a break because your lashes are shedding. A new one will grow out of the hair follicle. And sometimes when I say this, like you've got the new baby hair, it goes into the growth phase, it goes into the long phase, it falls out. People just in their head imagine the entire lash line. Like all of it grows, all of it falls out. That's not what happens. Every single lash has its own life cycle and is at a different point in time. So they're all gonna fall out bit by bit, and then a new lash will be growing through bit by bit. So when you go back for your refill, your lash artist will be putting a fresh lash on
To
a
a
smaller
fresh-
hair. Yeah. a
So
fresh
is the
natural lash.
reason that the lash falls out because the other lash has fallen out underneath it? Is
Yeah.
that the only reason that a lash extension falls out?
It should be the only reason that your lash extension is falling out, yes. So your lash extension should fall out when the natural lash sheds. So it will be attached to one lash, hopefully. There are other reasons that lashes can fall out, which is that the glue never bonded properly. Picking.
Me.
And if you pick them, you're going to pull your lash out as well. And if your lash is only halfway through that active growth phase when you pulled it out, you're not going to get a new one for ages.
So the cycle's still the same. If you pull it out, it doesn't start fresh and get quicker and grow the cycle. Because you know when you cut your hair, they say it grows quicker.
yeah, I don't know if that's true or not. Is that true?
Yeah, apparently it's true. If you trim your hair off, if it's got split ends and you trim your hair off, it grows quicker.
But you're not plucking it out of the hair follicle.
Yeah, true. I know.
Just
I'm
giving
just
it
trying.
a
I'm just trying to
trim.
work it out here in my head.
Yeah, I mean, we're all just working it out, aren't we? But I think, yeah, it's not going to just start like you pick it out and then the next hair goes, oh, well, I better get out there. Like, it's like when you wax, it's going to last a lot longer being hairless compared to when you shave, right? Cutting it. So I think that if people are getting really gappy and they're picking and they go, oh, lashes have ruined my lash extensions, I need to have a break. If you're picking them and you're pulling your hairs out, you probably do need to have a break because you need to allow time for those new lashes to
come
grow
through.
and come through again.
And you really seriously consider getting them done again if you're going to be a picker like
Yeah,
me.
if you're going to touch them, just don't get lashes.
Don't get them done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's not good for your lashes and you end up looking worse off because you do have a gappy lash line.
So it's not a myth. It's true that lash extensions can make your lashes fall out if you're a picker, but lash extensions on a natural cycle just fall out like your natural cycle. But if
Yeah.
you're a picker and
But
you pull the lash
I'm going
out,
to correct you because lash extensions didn't make your lashes fall out.
no, but
You pulled it
pick.
out.
I pulled it out. So yeah,
Mhm.
so lash extensions. If you're a picker and you pull your lash extension off, you're actually destroying the lash underneath it.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Yes.
So that's
Yes.
why I was
But
like
lash
bald.
extensions didn't do that to
No.
you. You did that to you.
Yeah, I know. I did that to me.
You ripped them out.
So I was one of those people that said after you did my lashes, I'm never having them done
Yeah,
again because
lash
all my
extensions
lashes,
ruined-
that they ruined my lashes. That's
Mm.
what I said to you.
Yeah, but
And
lash
you're like-
extensions didn't ruin
She
your
said,
lashes.
no, Jodie.
No, Jodie.
No,
I will
Jodie.
not stand for this bad talk of lash extensions. Lash extensions did not ruin your lashes.
I ruined my lashes.
Yes, and it was exacerbated by having lash extensions on. It made you want to pick them. So you're not the right candidate for lash extensions.
Yes, I know
That's
that.
very clear.
I know that. But I've had to try again. This is my first
And
time
you've
I
made a
refill.
conscious effort.
I have made a conscious effort.
Mhm.
I have tried not to pick. I haven't picked,
Yes.
but they're very comfortable.
Yeah.
I will say they're comfortable lash extensions.
It's that UV glue.
That's
I'm
a
gonna
big
keep on
difference.
spruiking the UV glue.
That's a really big difference too. I think your lash artist has a lot to do with how they feel.
Yeah.
Because I've been to a couple, because we've had to test out a couple because we know Alicia's really good. So I wanted to see what other sets were like. I've had a few people that randoms that I've gone to, and then a couple of our resellers that I've gone
Just
to.
found someone on the street. She didn't even know if they were a lash artist.
Just went to some random on the street and said, "Do you want to wax some lashes on?" And it makes all the difference about the lash artist. And couldn't wait to get some of them off. And others were great, just the retention wasn't as good. So your lash artist, as a lash artist, you have a massive responsibility
Mm-hmm.
to how much they're destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
if they're not comfortable like me, you'll just pick.
So, reasons that they're falling out, we're still talking about. If naturally, which is fine.
Yep.
If the adhesive wasn't cured properly, that can happen in weird environments. Sometimes it's weirdly humid in your room or something like that, and the glue has cured too fast before you put it on the lash. And then it might just stick for a very short time, but then a couple of days later it might fall out. So if all those extensions are falling out and there's no lash attached, it's probably a glue issue. And as a lash artist, I'd be offering my client a free fix-up or a refill to fix that problem. If you pick them, they're going to fall out. That does damage your lashes, and I would advise my client to not get lashes unless they can commit to not picking them. And then also you can cause lash damage if the glue is not applied correctly, or the lashes aren't applied correctly and the glue is touching multiple lashes. So if there's just like way too much glue, the glue is not curing fast enough and staying wet when you're moving to the next one, and multiple lashes are sticking to each other. When we're talking about the growth at different rates, if you imagine two lashes right next to each other, one of them is in its active growth phase and one of it is not. So imagine one of them just starts growing like over the next couple of days really, really quickly, but it's glued to the one next to it. So it's just pulling the one next to it constantly until sometimes it just gets to a pressure point where it's going to rip it out.
Is that the uncomfortableness, do you think? Is that why I feel like something is going on there? Not this time around, this has been great. But I've often felt like that something's going on and I need to get it out. Or is that just me being, got to get it out?
I honestly think that...
Can you feel that?
Well, I think that there's been a mix of different things for you. Like, not being used to wearing lashes, you can often feel them, especially when you first get them done. Lots of people believe that you shouldn't put them any closer than a mil close to the skin. And there is a school of thought that says put them as close as possible because you don't want them to grow out too much. Look, I put them really close personally, and I don't touch the skin, but it's like basically as close as you can to be touching. And so when you first get them on, they will be a little bit more uncomfortable or feel like kind of tighter. But the other thing that I have seen when you had been to another person is when the glue is touching the skin. I noticed that you had one or two that were touching your skin in previous times, so that's going to be annoying, and you are going to feel that.
And the scrub.
Yeah.
You just want to scratch it off.
But I think there is just
Rip
a big thing for you
off.
with just being a bit of an eye toucher, and not like, you don't wear makeup very often. You're not someone that has like mascara on their eyes and used to having things on your eyes where you can't touch them. You'll just rub your eyes whenever you want to, because you've never really had to think about it before. So I think having something where you're prohibited from touching your eyes probably just made you really feel like there's something.
But that's really good how you've explained that to me now. That's a really good part of the service too, that you could explain to someone. Like if you had said that to me, which you didn't say that to me to start with because we were going through, I was getting you to explain what you were doing. I just started at Prolong. But I think if I was told that too, I mean, that's part of the service, told that you might pick these, they may feel uncomfortable, that would, alleviate that problem for me, which it has now because you've bugged me about not picking.
So the question is, do you need to take a break?
Good question. Do you need to take a break?
So obviously there's personal preference. Your preference is to wear your lashes for special occasions and either let them shed until they're basically gone or have them removed. And that's a personal preference and anyone has the right to make that choice. But do you have to have a break? No. You don't have to have a break. If your lashes are being applied correctly by a lash artist who knows what they're doing, they don't have any irritation, they feel comfortable. And I had clients that literally had lashes for 10 years straight. And something important as a lash artist to do is prove that what you're doing with their lashes is safe and that no damage is being caused. So I always took before photos of their lashes before I ever put lashes on them, even if they didn't want to do before or afters for Instagram or opted out for that kind of thing. I still said I'm taking them for record keeping purposes, and I wouldn't do a set until I took a picture of the befores. And every now and then I would take updated photos of their lashes when they come in for a refill, maybe every 6 months or so, just to compare. And if they ever said to me, oh, I feel like my lashes are getting thinned out, or they don't seem as long as they did before, and things like that.
I have the proof.
She got me.
I have the proof.
You actually scared me. But yeah, you do have the proof. And people do think, especially if they've had lashes for a little while and then they do take them off for some reason. Like I had a lash client who didn't want to take her lashes off, but she was having some surgery and her surgeon said, you can't have lashes on. So she took them off for that, and she was like, I'll be right back to get them back on again. But when I took them off, she goes, oh, I think my lashes are a bit shorter than they used to be, and they don't look like as full, and do you think lashes are damaging my lashes? And I was able to take a picture of the lashes right then, pull up the old picture and show her, look, they are pretty much the same. Some of the tips were slightly shorter, and I'm saying some of them, and that is also something that's going to happen when you've removed extensions from a lash that's had extensions glued to it for a couple of weeks. Sometimes the tip will snap. But that can happen if you're wearing mascara. That happens with lash curlers, are absolutely terrible for snapping the ends of lashes. So, it's not like that individual lash or those few lashes that I pointed out, and I explained this to her. These few lashes are damaged, yes, because they had something glued to them for 3 weeks and we've taken it off, but it's not damaged in the sense that the hair follicles suffered some trauma.
Growing.
Exactly.
It's
that lash is going to fall out.
And
it's going to grow a new one. Yeah, but when you look at like the lash line as a whole, majority of them are actually pretty much the same as before. You've just gotten used to having really thick and really long lashes.
Like when you have your nails,
your
nails put on and then your nails taken off, it's exactly the same thing. You actually think, oh, my nails are damaged and this and that and the other, but it's just that you're missing that length of nail.
Yeah. So your nails probably are damaged though, because they grind them down. I know,
but I was just trying to think of something that you take off and on and take off.
No, it's a good
not a good analogy.
It is a little bit, but I just want to defend lashes a little bit and say we don't strip the outer layer off your lash. You do for a lash.
Very defensive of her lashes today, isn't she?
Don't talk rubbish about
lash extensions.
I won't accept it.
So basically what you're saying is, as the client, which I am, that I need to check with my lash artist. I need to hope that my lash artist is as thorough as you and has taken a photo from the start, so can prove me wrong when I say they damage my lashes. I don't feel like they damage my lashes, I just feel like they irritate me.
They do damage your lashes when you pull them out.
Yeah, well, that's a problem. That's a problem. So, for me, for a client, check with your lash artist. And as a lash artist, what do you do?
As a lash artist, protect yourself as well from allegations that what your service is doing is causing damage. Like, you don't want people coming in and accusing you of that. So you want to make sure that you're sort of protecting yourself. Take the before photos. Make sure that you have them on file where you can keep them with people. I mean, I have photos that are 15 years old.
It's a great idea.
Because you need to keep that. If your client is going to come back to you down the track and say, there's something wrong with my lashes now, you can prove that whatever you've done is correct. And in saying that, make sure that you're doing a good job. Like,
exactly.
Make sure that you're keeping up with training and doing it properly. Yeah, if you're gluing multiple lashes together, if you're not keeping an eye on your environment, if humidity's off, if the glue that you're using isn't setting right in your environment and it's setting too slowly and you are inadvertently sticking lashes to each other, you will cause damage. And when people say, oh, lashes damaged my lashes, they probably did. Whatever that happened to that person, they didn't just make that up. But there are so many ways to avoid lash damage, and you should be doing your best as a lash artist to make sure you're doing the lashes the best and safest way that you can and not causing any damage to the lashes. And then the rest of it's in the hands of your customer to make sure that they're washing every day with Prolong Lash Cleanser.
Otherwise I'll be coming back screaming, saying my lashes have fallen off. It's your fault. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, we'll blame you. Mm-hmm. We will just blame you because they weren't like that before you touched my eyes.
Exactly.
So that will be my argument, even if I've washed them with Prolong Lash.
And that's a fair assumption to make. And unless you have all the information, you would assume that.
So keep up your training, be better, look at all the tips on how to avoid for your client the uncomfortableness of the picking. You can help with that. Shredding, it's natural, as Alicia's explained very carefully today. So don't be nervous as a client when they fall out. Just talk to your lash artist. I think that's the best advice.
Educate, like if your preference is to do something that might be out of the ordinary in the way that you apply, or if, like for me example, I put them as close to the eyelid as possible. I don't leave that 1 mil because I don't want them going out 2-3 millimeters in the next couple of weeks. It is important, like I should be explaining to people, it's gonna feel a bit noticeable for the next week whilst they're first growing out. Like you're going to be able to feel them a little bit if you squeeze your eyes really tightly closed or you push them into your lash line. So yeah, just give people information. The more information you give them, the more educated they are, the more empowered they feel and safer they feel in your hands.
Exactly, and as I said, you don't turn around them and say, oh, my lash artist did this to me. I'm never going back to them again. You say, oh, my lash artist explained that to me. She said, I may be feeling discomfort. Well, look at anything. You leave a doctor's surgery if there's something wrong, or you leave anywhere and they say, for the next few days you'll be feeling this. If it still continues, come back and see me. Same as your lash artist. If it continues and you're not happy with something, bring them up. Go back and talk to them. That's what they're there for.
Yeah, and if there's something out of the ordinary with your lash artist, like normally they don't hurt, and normally that's not a problem, and this one time it is hurting, there is something wrong. So contact them, because they should always feel reasonably comfortable.
And they appreciate the feedback, because they need to know for their other clients. They don't want people walking around going, oh, I'm not going to go back because she hurt, but I didn't say anything. So, yeah.
And think about the hairs that they're dealing with. Like we're dealing with the finest, most individual little hairs, and hundreds of them during your appointment. It's likely that once in a while you're going to accidentally glue a lash to another lash or something like that. It's bound to happen because they are so fine and it is such fiddly work. It's not possible to be perfect 100% of the time. We are humans, so if you do feel something, your lash artist would not have done it on purpose and they would want to rectify it.
I'd be gluing eyes together. I wouldn't even be able to see the little lashes. I have to get you to pluck, if I've got a little loose hair, I have to get you to pluck that because I can't even use the tweezers properly. So I'm definitely not a person that you'd want to trust at all putting lash extensions on.
I just thought about the worst thing that happened at our salon when you said gluing eyes together.
What happened?
Do you want to hear a horror story?
Yeah, tell us. We need a horror story.
This is the worst. Okay, so back in the day, glue didn't used to be like very well labeled and stuff like that either. They used to just send it from Korea in white bottles, mostly without a sticker on them, and glue remover in same, very similar bottles.
Oh, goodness me.
Do you see where I'm going here?
Yes, I got it.
So then one of our lash artists one day is her client comes in and she's going to remove the set completely and start again because she wanted a completely different style and different length. So she's booked in for a complete removal and replace. So she's removing the lashes, and then after a little bit goes, can you come and have a look at this? Something weird is happening. The glue remover's all like stringy, and like every time I put it on, it's like stringing up. And I was like, what's happening? Look at it, it's clear glue. She's like literally put clear glue all over, like glue remover, and is like wiping clear glue on.
No.
She didn't realize we had clear glue because normally our glue was black. And we'd gotten some clear glue in to try out some coloured lashes. And so she just poured it on. It looked like glue remover, started literally glued the person's eye closed, like so much. And
geez, that's putting a lot of faith in me coming back to you on Monday, have my refills done.
Oh my gosh. So then, you know, we get out the glue remover and we're just starting to work on that for like 45 minutes.
How was the client?
She didn't care, she was asleep. She didn't even know. Never told her.
Oh no. Did you charge her for the service?
Yeah, she's still got a beautiful set of perfect lashes at the end. It just took a little bit longer.
Goodness me. All right, so we're on that note, on that gluing eyes together, which is what I would do if I was a lash artist. Hope you got some good tips today. Alicia always has some interesting things to talk about and debunks a lot of myths going around about lash extensions. So lash extensions, basically for me as a client, I'm having a break from them most of the year because I'm a picker and I do damage my lashes. I do it myself, but I pick them out myself. But this time, when I've had them on, I've been ultra careful and my lashes are beautiful and not damaged.
Yeah, and if you do them properly, they're applied correctly, and the client feels comfortable with them, and their natural lashes are looking healthy, and every refill you're checking their lashes to make sure they're looking healthy, they do not need to have a break.
There you go, in a nutshell. Do not need to have a break. We need to put that in big neon lights.
No breaks.
No breaks.
No breaks.
No breaks. Wash your lashes, no breaks.
And if you have any questions or comments or want to grill me for my terrible story about gluing my clients' eyes closed, comment below on our YouTube channel. Give us a thumbs up on this video. And jump onto our socials as well to check out what we're doing on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Jodie's standing on her head over there on TikTok land.
Yeah, at the moment.
We have our Aussie Lashwise podcast as well if you want to jump on and listen to some fun interviews. And
we've had some exciting interviews on that lately, haven't we?
We have.
So get and listen to that. And thank you for joining us today. And if any questions, give us a buzz, give us a call, email us, and everyone have a great day.
Jump onto www.prolonglash.com and .au for Australia.
She always gets that in. See ya.
Bye.